Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessie. If you are new here, I do all kinds of vlogs, lifestyle content, financial content, but one of the most popular videos on my channel is my 2-week wait video, which I know a ton of you have found my channel that way. So if you have, leave a comment down below if you want, but I know a bunch of you have reached out on that video. I've had a couple of requests. The last time I asked for requests on videos, which I'll sometimes do in like the little comment area of YouTube, I've also had people just ask in general what some of my favorite newborn must-haves are. So I thought I would do a dedicated video to this. I know it's not for everyone, but for those of you who do watch my channel for motherhood or watch my pregnancy vlogs, all that kind of stuff, hopefully this will be helpful for you. So I'm currently sitting in Ivy's room right now. She doesn't have a crib in here because her crib is still in our room, but it's a really small room. So actually one of the things that's on my list is right behind me, but so if you see like toys everywhere, I tried to pick up a couple things, but it's a kid's room. I'm looking at my phone because this is where I have it written down, but the first thing I have is her Snuggle Me Organic. I think it's called Snuggle Me Organic, but her Snuggle Me Lounger. This was probably the most used product for a while until she outgrew it. Ivy was born very big. She was a 9.5 pounds. So she grew out of this a lot faster than some people do. And there are some like do's and don'ts with the loungers that I want to talk about as well. But I bought a dark green one, not thinking about the fact that like you should probably get a cover with it too, because she puked on it, she peed on it, she pooped on it, and it's kind of hard to wash depending on the type of washing machine that you have. So I would definitely recommend getting a cover for it. We didn't use it with a cover and we used it all the time. When she was small, she's always had really good neck strength, so I was never worried about her like, you know, getting her face smashed up against the side, and she was always bigger, so just like the way that her head rested in it worked for us. I know not everybody likes loungers, but for us it was really helpful if we were laying on the couch or sitting on the couch. She could lay there, she was happy. You're not supposed to let babies sleep in them. She did. I was always right next to her, and trust me, with my anxious momness, I was watching her literally constantly, that you shouldn't let them sleep in it. So I'm not promoting it or not promoting it. I'm just saying that that is what we did. But she also just like lounged in it, because when she was little and she wasn't flipping around and moving, it was easy to lay her in there and you could play with her, or you could read to her, or sometimes she just was like staring around at stuff, or sometimes you just like need to put them down for a second to get something done. And I will say, once she started like flipping and moving, you can't use it anymore, and that kind of sucked, because it was like a really easy way to just like put her in there for a second if I needed to like open the door, or I needed to like grab myself a snack or something like that. So something that we really loved using and used all the time. The second thing on here that I have is a breathable mattress, and we got the Newton Baby mattress. We put it on our registry, and her aunt actually bought it for her. And I say that this is important personally because I had so much anxiety as a new mom. Knowing that we had a breathable mattress was really important to me, and like literally like putting my face to it and realizing that you could breathe, because Ivy is a stomach sleeper and she has been for a long time. We tried for weeks to try to flip her back to her back when she would wake up, and she wouldn't, and sometimes the girl literally sleeps face down like this, and it is terrifying. Now she's been doing it long enough, and she usually puts her head to the side, and I will say sometimes I still move her head to the side, but it's just comforting knowing that if she is breathing in, that it's safe. And that was something that for like my mama anxiety was really important to me, was finding a breathable mattress. So I'm glad that we did that. Next up is a swing or a bouncer seat, depending on like the size of the baby, how old they are. Another thing that was just necessary to be able to put her down sometimes, like she was a heavy baby. I'm not the strongest person. Sometimes you just need to put them down. I had a lot of stomach issues for a good part of postpartum, and sometimes I had to go to the bathroom and I couldn't just like leave her somewhere. So I'd put her in her little bouncer seat outside the bathroom, if I'm being honest. It was helpful if we needed to eat and she wanted to be by us, and this was kind of like when the Snuggle Me maybe wasn't as easy for her, she wanted to sit up, so we would sit her in her little bouncer. When she got a little bit too big for the bouncer, we moved to a swing, and my sister actually bought it for her off of Facebook Marketplace, and it was great. And that's another tip. Buy stuff off of Facebook Marketplace. We bought so much random stuff that we could have gotten from Facebook Marketplace that people like don't use. Like the swing was used once, and the little playpen that we have downstairs, which was something for older, like past newborn stage, that she uses all the time, that's also from Facebook Marketplace, so utilize that. But the swing was also really helpful when she wanted to start to move. Again, another place that I could put her in for a few minutes. I never left her in there for a really long time, but just enough if I needed a minute, if I needed to vacuum, if I needed to call my doctor, just something that she enjoyed, and she really liked the swing. Now, I will say not every baby likes every swing or every bouncer. Some don't like any of them, some like all of them. We were lucky that Ivy liked both of them and we never had an issue, but once she stopped liking them, she stopped and we no longer could use it. Again, another reason to buy them used if you can. The fourth thing on my list is Dr. Brown's bottles. We used the glass ones just for preference, although be careful because if they can smack their face with it, which Ivy has done. We got the Dr. Brown's 4-ounce bottles. This was something that was told to us by our lactation consultant when I was still trying to breastfeed and bottle feed. Unfortunately, she just never adapted to breastfeeding, so we did pumping for almost 6 months of her life. And yeah, so I would put like my breast milk in her little things, we would heat it up and she would eat that way. We also used preemie nipples for a really long time. It's supposed to help with them learning how to like suck correctly, especially if you also want to do breastfeeding. She's now using like 1s, I think, as far as nipples go, even though she's 7 months old. But highly recommend those bottles. There's a lot of really cute bottles out there, but they don't always work, and not every baby likes every bottle, every nipple, every pacifier, all of those kinds of things. So sometimes you'll have to like work around that, but we really enjoyed those bottles. We're still using them, we just have bigger ones now. The next thing is this Love Every Mat. We use this so much. To be honest, she doesn't use it as much right now. She'll kind of play with it, but she's more interested in like pulling herself up on things and standing, but she's much older now. She loved this. She would lay in here and look at these cards or play with the sounds, and she currently uses some of the stuff for teething. And then as they get older, you can also make it into like a little teepee. But even if she never uses this again, it was so worth the money for us. She was on it all the time. We practiced tummy time on here. We practiced lifting her head up. We looked at different colors and we read to her this way. If you've watched any of my vlogs, you've seen this in every video. She loved this when she was little, and it was 100% worth the money for me. I know there's other brands out there, so if Love Every is out of your budget, there's tons of ones on Amazon that maybe don't look the same but have the same purpose. And I think having a little play area specifically for them when they're little, especially when you're trying to do tummy time, we really love this one. The next thing on my list is a baby carrier. So when she was a newborn, we had the wraparound one. I forget what it's called, I'll put it here. But we had that one. I was always really afraid to use it. Again, I was a very anxious mom. I'm still pretty anxious, but I was very anxious with her as a newborn, and I was just afraid that she was gonna fall out of it, even though I knew she wasn't. But Ben used that one a lot, so he would baby wear her when he was on paternity leave, and she loved it, and he really liked that one as well. A few months, she was probably like 3 months old, a friend of mine mentioned that she got a Tula baby carrier, so I bought a Tula baby carrier, and I really liked that one because it like snapped up top and behind you, so to me it just felt much more secure. I wasn't worried about putting something on wrong and her falling out, and it felt secure. It could grow with her, and she really liked it. She actually likes the texture of it and like chews on it a little bit, and it's something that we can use with her as she grows. We actually haven't used it much lately just because we haven't been going anywhere, but we've used it on walks. I used it a ton just to like vacuum. Once she started like rolling and I couldn't really leave her in the Snuggle Me or in her swing or anything like that, I would wear her so I could vacuum or whatever, and she really enjoyed that because a lot of times she just wants to be held. It's actually something that I think I'm going to bring back out because she's kind of in like a clingy stage was teething. I think if I just like wore her around, she would be totally happy. Some babies like being worn and some don't, and some different, like you might have to find the carrier that works for you, but I really enjoyed the Tula carrier. And then again, we used the like wrap one, Solly baby wrap, that's what it's called, when she was younger. The next thing is a sleep sack. So we've had a couple. We had some sleep sacks that we were given when she was born, and they were like warmer and they had the swaddle attached. So instead of having to swaddle them in a blanket, you put them in this sleep sack, and then they had these Velcro straps that swaddled them in. Ivy had to be double swaddled at the hospital because she was so big that she could break out of a swaddle very easily. So we really enjoyed using the Halo swaddles that had those straps. I will say she broke out of those very quickly, and I was nervous at first, but she was totally fine. Really enjoyed using those until she grew out of them. We had them for when she was a newborn, and then we had the ones next. And then we moved on to the Kyte baby swaddles. Actually, I have one right here. A friend of ours bought this for her. It's a Harry Potter one from Kyte baby. It's still just a tiny bit too big for her, so she'll be using this one probably in the next like month or two, honestly. But in the interim, when she grew out of her Halo one, I bought her another Kyte baby one that she wears. It's just like a purple one. They're super soft, super breathable. We got one that was lighter weight so that she wouldn't be warm during the summer. I usually put her in like a short sleeve onesie and that, and she's totally fine at night. We keep the house at like 68 at night, but it is an older house, so like the air conditioning doesn't work perfectly in every room. But we really enjoyed that. She loves sleep sacks. They're safe for them to sleep in. You don't have to worry about anything as long as you have one that fits her correctly. And like I said, when she was a newborn, the Halo ones that had the like arm straps or like the swaddle built in was so much better. Like I don't think I ever swaddled her like outside of that. I mean a little bit, but like to sleep in, she would have broken out of a blanket swaddle like that. The next thing I have on here is like kind of important. I think it is important. I don't love the one we got, but it's our glider. So that's our chair over there. Don't mind my shirt on the ground. We use this all the time. I used it for pumping. We used it for feeding her in the middle of the night. We still use it to put her to bed. This one, I'm just really short. I'm 5'1". So if you can, depending on your height, unless you're like of average height, if you can like go into a store and try it out, that's better. Or like read reviews, because for me, my legs are like just a little bit short, that sometimes it can be uncomfortable to sit in this for a long time. I know they make like much more expensive like luxury brand ones, but I just wasn't willing or interested in purchasing something like that. I think this one was just over $100, and somebody bought it for us from our registry, and we really enjoyed it. So I do highly recommend having something like that, but you could repurpose a chair that you already have, get a glider like this, or if you have the budget and you really want to get one of those like really nice ones from like Pottery Barn or wherever they're from, it's worth it. You're in it a lot. We'll be using it for a while until she's too big for it, and if we do have any other kids, we'll use that as well. And then my last thing on here is help. So for me, when we were in Raleigh, we got a chiropractor and a lactation consultant and a doula, and those three women were super helpful. The doula obviously was more important for me, and she helped during my birth, and then she helped a lot afterwards. She checked on me, she sent us food, she like gave us a couple gifts, things like that. The lactation consultant came over and we got one in home, and it was covered by insurance, so check your insurance. I think it's called the Lactation Network. Look that up online and it'll help you see like what your insurance will cover. And she came to our house, and we also did a virtual visit with her. I still didn't end up breastfeeding just because it didn't work out for me, but I am glad that I worked with her because she was really helpful, much more helpful than the lactation consultants were in the hospital. And then for me, my chiropractor was super important, not only for my postpartum body and pregnancy body, but for Ivy. I did like work with a chiropractor for her, and my chiropractor was also informed on lactation, so she tried to help me with that stuff. She like loosened, we were told that Ivy had a tongue and lip tie, and she really didn't. They just needed to be loosened, and chiropractic can help with that. So And also just like stretching. Like Ivy was very big, so she was very squished inside of me. She didn't come out vaginally, she came out C-section, which is a birth trauma. At least the way that it was for her. So just like getting her to use muscles, getting her to turn on, in the sense that like I think earlier in her life she didn't even know that she was like out of the womb. So like teaching her how to like stretch her muscles and things like that was something that the chiropractor taught us. And I really trusted my chiropractor. Like I had worked with her for myself beforehand, and then I worked with her with Ivy, and that made me feel really good. They're not cracking the baby, they're not doing anything like that they do to adults. It's more of like stretches and just like showing you how to hold the baby correctly to help with their body, because their body's gonna be, you know, it was just scrunched for months. I'm gonna have to save a video for regrets and like things that I actually used in my hospital bag for another video. So if you'd like to see that, let me know down below. I don't want this video to be too long. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed seeing what some of our newborn must-haves were. And let me know in the comments if there are any other pregnancy or baby videos that you would like to see from me. And I will talk to you in the next video.